Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Later on yesterday afternoon, we ended up seeing yet another new update drop in Black Ops 6 and Warzone, and this one actually addresses some pretty interesting things. We've got some new bug fixes, some new gameplay adjustments that actually impact weapons and the overall general meta that's going on there. They actually ended up removing yet another broken, overpowered meta. They addressed some pretty significant issues that have been going on in Warzone as well. But first up, we do actually have some Black Ops 6 related patch notes overall. So there is one global update. This applies to Black Ops 6 multiplayer, zombies, and then Warzone alike. And here they say globally they addressed an issue where Black Ops 6 sniper rifles were missing heavy tracers when fired. So if you did have a sniper blueprint from BO6 that had tracers equipped, you probably noticed, yeah, these aren't special bullets when I'm firing, and now you can have that effect back. So you're getting what you paid for, or what you unlocked out of whatever the blueprint bundle was, or you know, the battle pass stuff, whatever the case was there. Then they jump right into some zombies updates here. They actually address some stuff with Shattered Veil that I've seen a lot of conversation about within the zombies community. They initially addressed an issue where the lab technician can transform into a parasite, preventing it from dropping the floppy disk for the Wonder Weapon quest. Pretty funny bug, but also super annoying if you were to run into that. You're trying to complete that. You're like, oh yeah, that's the guy I got to monitor, and he's a bug now. So you can see the issue in that, of course. On the boss fight, they addressed an issue where the Void Sheath augment for Ether Shroud was not counting towards the maximum number of melee swipes a player could do while mounted on the boss. They also increased the maximum amount of melee swipes a player can do while mounted, and they also increased non-critical damage from the ray gun by 3.5 times. So some slight adjustments there. Then they give us a little paragraph of updates here. They say, while the clever use of full powers during boss fights can be creative and fun, we're staying focused on closing exploits and fixing bugs that can cheapen the experience of completing the main quest in the early days of a new map. This includes using Void Sheath to deal more melee damage than intended against bosses. So we made a fix today that while also increasing the max number of melee swipes players can do while mounted as a counterbalance. So the damage is lesser, but you're able to do more over time. So it'll take you longer to hit that damage threshold, but it's still to an extent possible to optimize that, right? We've also taken a look at the Ray Gun Mark II-R, which performs as well as General Headshotter and a kitting weapon, but had a significant disadvantage in the boss fight when compared to the other Ray Gun Mark II variants. Its non-critical damage against the boss has been given a significant boost as a result. So some adjustments there in the boss fight. Obviously, there's always a lot of cheese when a zombies map first drops of what's the easiest strat to do this. If you're trying to min-max or speed run through, you could do this and it'll optimize it and you can get it done way quicker, or it's not going to be as difficult or whatever the case is. So they're just trying to keep it somewhat challenging and engaging and limiting the cheese there in terms of the boss fight on Shattered Veil. But that said, now let's jump over to the Warzone patch notes where things get pretty interesting. So as we do dive into our Friday, April 11th patch notes, like I said from yesterday afternoon, quick reminder, if you are new to the channel, YouTube tells me that on average any day between like 8,000 and 10,000 people are watching the videos for the very first time. So if that's you, there's no better place to stay up to date with Call of Duty than right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and of course help us get one step closer to reaching 1 million subscribers. And if you enjoy this video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated as well. Much love to everyone who takes the time to do so. But initially here, right away, we've got a global update. They say, recently disabled items, yet another meta option has been completely removed from the game. This time it is the MX Guardian shotgun, the 12 gauge Dragon's Breath ammo. They say 12 gauge Dragon's Breath ammo was only meant to be available on specific trigger types for the MX Guardian shotgun. As such, we've disabled this attachment until we can address this issue. Now, this was yet another meta that had surfaced through some testing. It's like, oh, this is insanely broken for the close range. You may recall a few days back, we also had the similar situation with these snake shots returning as well. There's been other stuff going on with like the 720 and its ability to have the blueprints that one-shot knock you, or the Reclaimer 18 that had blueprints that could fire akimbo weapons simultaneously in a way that wasn't intended. And so they've removed those, but they also took this a step further and updated this specific patch note even more on the Call of Duty Updates Twitter. So here, COD Updates sort of quotes their patch note post saying, for clarification in the newest Warzone update, 12 gauge Dragon's Breath ammo has been disabled on all Modern Warfare 12 gauge shotguns until further notice, not just the MX Guardian. So any shotgun from Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 that uses 12 gauge will not have the ability to run Dragon's Breath. I think they're kind of trying to get out ahead of this. They're like, oh, okay, if it was broken on the MX Guardian and players found that, what's going to go on when they find it on the next shotgun and then the next one? So they're just getting out ahead of that and saying, okay, no more crazy broken, doofs up close with the fire rounds and everything. We're going to just get out ahead of that. And who knows when exactly that'll be returning, because it seems like when these things are removed from the game because of them being broken or overpowered in some way, they don't always return to the pool in a super timely fashion. And I say that because on the Trello board card that lists some of the other options that were removed from the game, things like the Reclaimer 18, the Core 45, the MTZ 762 Heretic Carbine Kit, these things have been disabled for quite some time. They really haven't addressed when all of this will be fully updated and fixed. So you could use the correct blueprints for this stuff, or you could use the correct aftermarket parts, or whatever the case is. So it's really just time's gonna tell when we'll be able to have potentially Dragon's Breath back as an option, but it also might just subtly disappear for a very, very, very long time. We're gonna have to wait and see. But anyways, that's not all for the patch notes. We also have some pretty important bug fixes here for the Warzone update as well. So initially here they say they fixed an issue that caused players to remain stuck when attempting to loot a loadout crate. This one outright fantastic. This has been an issue that's been going on for a long time. Wasn't just a season 3 problem. This has been going on dating back to the original Black Ops 6 Warzone integration, where you go to interact, try and pick up your loadout, and your game would get stuck and you couldn't move around. You just straight up, quite literally, could not play the game. So that's a big one there. They also fixed a pretty obnoxious bug that sometimes caused loadouts to reset after a match. So if you went through and you created your good loadout, okay, I'm using the HDR and the KSV this game, and then you load into a match, you play it, you're good, maybe you get third place, you re-queue for the next game and you load in, and it's no longer your HDR and your KSV, it's reset to something completely different. And then you have to hurry up, go through, reset it if you're trying to use that same setup in the next match before the pre-game lobby countdown timer happens, right? So just really, like I said, an annoying bug to run into where you had to keep redoing your loadouts over and over again, but no more is that going to be an issue. They also say they fixed an issue that caused players to lose functionality after receiving their loadout. So in this case, instead of getting stuck, you just wouldn't be able to function in game. You couldn't interact with things, you couldn't drop things or pick things up. It just basically made it so that you were walking around and just enjoying your time. You were getting some free cardio in and not being able to contribute to the match in any capacity. Another pretty obnoxious bug that was honestly pretty game breaking, all things considered. They also say they fixed an issue preventing some calling card challenges to complete properly in Battle Royale Casual. So BR Casual, fantastic mode, one for just chilling with the homies, maybe having some fun warming up for some real BR matches, but also getting camo challenges done, leveling up weapons and doing stuff there, or doing the other in-game challenges too that apply to, you know, Battle Royale scenarios there. So it's a really great way to just sort of cheese that stuff without all the stress of skill-based matchmaking going into overdrive and regular BR. And some of the calling card challenges were not functioning, but so far it seems like they are pretty committed to allowing players to get things done in the casual mode, which is kind of surprising considering originally with like boot camp you could go through and do camo challenges and do certain challenges in that mode, and then they just silently took that option away. It was just straight up for taking out bots, right? But now in casual, even though the large player pool is bots, you can still be pretty productive in that mode, which honestly is cool to see in my opinion. I like the fact that they're actually giving that as a full option. But yeah, that is everything that ended up changing. That's all the updates that happened with the newest patch notes here within BO6 and Warzone, and that's gonna wrap things up. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always seriously appreciated. And if you're new to the channel, you want to guarantee that every single day you are in the know for all things going on in COD, this is the place to be, so feel free to hit that subscribe button on your way out. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.